ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ श्रीमेधादक्षिणामूर्तिस्वामिने नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतः सुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्ख्यपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थितदद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। So, namaste once again, everyone.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste. So, we will chant the sloka. I hope all of you have unmuted.
Yes.
Traividya mam somapaha.
Traividya
Somapada.
Bhutapapaha.
Bhutapapaha.
Yajñairishtva.
Yajñerištva.
Svargatim prartayante.
Svargatim prartayante.
Te punyamasadhya.
Te punyamasadhya.
Surendra lokam.
Surendralokam.
Ashnanti divyan.
Ashnanti divyan.
Divi deva bhogan.
Divi deva bhogan.
Good. So, Bhagavan Krishna, as we saw from verses 12 to 19 of this chapter, described the three forms of bhakti and also three objects of bhakti when pursued together will eventually lead to liberation, freedom or moksha. Therefore, with the 19th verse, the topic of bhakti as a means of liberation is over. Now with this verse, the 20th verse up to 29th verse, Krishna is talking about bhakti from another angle, another standpoint, which is that Sakama Bhakti and Nishkama Bhakti. And Sakama Bhakti, as we have seen, is a bhakti through which a person seeks either artha or kama, a bhakti which is utilized for material ends. And in material ends, includes going to Swargaloka. That is also part of Sakama Bhakti only. That is also one of the results of Sakama Bhakti. And if it is Nishkama Bhakti, a person chooses the same Bhakti for moksha through Jnanam and also to gain Jnana Yogyata in the form of Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, which is a prerequisite for Shastra Vichara or Jnanam, which Jnanam is a prerequisite for moksha. So the chain is Nishkama Bhakti, Jnana Yogyata in the form of Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, then move on to Jnanam, Shastra Vichara, and then finally reach the destination moksha. This is the route map. And for Shastra Vichara, one needs the Guru. Not any type of Guru, a Guru who is a Sampradayavit, who is from the Parampara, and who is qualified enough, and who has the skill to unfold the message of the Upanishads. So there is one ancillary benefit of this Nishkama Bhakti, which is it also leads the sadhaka to such a guru. And as I said, Krishna is not prescriptive regarding Sakama Bhakti and Nishkama Bhakti. He has no preferences. He is just presenting the pros and cons of both types of bhakti and leaves it to us to decide which one we want to pursue. So he starts with the advantages and disadvantages of Sakama Bhakti in the verses 20 and 21. And in this verse number 20, which we are discussing, he presents the result of Sakama Bhakti. He says that those who worship me through yajnas, those people who know the three Vedas, those who have partaken the Soma juice as prasada in a Somayaga, and those who are purified of their sins, you can call it sins or malam, and those who pray for access to the heavens will reach heaven and enjoy the heavenly pleasures, the pleasures which the gods in the heavens enjoy. Firstly, they will enjoy a very good health, afflictions-free health, because of which they will always remain very young. Then rich and nutritious food they will get. There are no diet fads in heaven. Any food you eat is really good for the body, mind, and sense complex. So they will get such a rich and nutritious food, high fiber food, with all minerals, vitamins, etc., which will also add to their health. Then they will be entertained by music and dances of Gandharvas, Urvashi, Ramba, etc. And all these not just for a few years or even 100 years. The life in Swarga is very, very, very long lasting. So they will have the kind of life which was their goal in pursuing Sakama Bhakti. All this we saw in the last class. Now towards the end of the class, we were discussing how does one identify a Sakama Bhakta and a Nishkama Bhakta. And I said, I will give the answer in today's class. And through that, I wanted all of you to attend today's class. It's a teaser rather. Acharyas normally, towards the end of the class, they will end it in some suspense so that the students have got a curiosity and a inquisitiveness to find out the answer. They'll come for the next class. Of course, in our case, that is not compulsory because you all get the recording also. Anyway, so here is the answer. The difference between a Sakama Bhakta and a Nishkama Bhakta, we can make out from the Sankalpa, the motive with which a person expresses his bhakti. If it is a religious activity, motive is indicated by Mamopata, Samasta, Durdakshaya Dwara, Sri Parameshwara Prityartham or Narayana Prityartham. Then you go on to say, Dhanam Dhanyam Pashum Bahuputra Labham Shatasam Vatsaram Dirghamayuhu. There is a very big list, and there will be one prayer added. Dharmartha Kama Moksha Chaturvida Phala Purushartha Siddhyartham. That also they will add. Why leave anything, Ask for everything that is possible. Whatever Bhagavan wants to give, let him give. So they will mention moksha, but only in the passing. Main emphasis will be on material benefits. Dhanam, dhanyam, pashum, etc. Bahuputra labham. So if it is a religious activity, the sankalpa will indicate. What about sankalpa for Nishkama Bhakti? You will skip all this big list and simply say Chitta Shuddhyartham, Lokakshemartham, Parameshwara or Narayana Prityartham. Even here, the prayer will not be for moksha, because through Nishkama Bhakti, you are sure you are going to gain Chitta Shuddhi. Once you have Chitta Shuddhi, moksha will automatically follow. So you don't need to even ask for moksha separately. So whatever karma or upasana we do, we make our intention very clear right at the beginning itself, that we are doing either Sakama Bhakti or Sakama Karma, Sakama Upasana or Nishkama Karma, Nishkama Upasana. And if it is a non-religious activity like a business, some service you are doing, your motive or the purpose of business will indicate whether it is Sakama or Nishkama. If your motive is only to make money for oneself and accumulate money for 7 generations to come, or even if it is for making money for dharmic activities, that is for doing, reaching out karmas, that will determine whether it is Sakama or Nishkama. So money making, is it incidental or primary purpose? If you say money making is incidental, but through this I want Chitta Shuddhi, by using all the wealth I have got for the benefit of the people, by using all the wealth I have got for performing Panchamaha Yajnas, including Atiti Bhojanam, Atiti Pujanam, etc., then that will be Nishkama Bhakti, Chitta Shuddhi Pradhana Bhakti. Only thing is, your prayer is that I require this money, this wealth to continue this activity. So if it is Chitta Shuddhi Pradhana activity, it is Nishkama. And if it is Mani Pradhana activities, it is Sakama. So there also we can make out whether it is Sakama or Nishkama. And of course, here Krishna says most of the people are interested only in pleasure. And according to the Vedic scriptures, the highest form of pleasure is what? Heaven, going to heaven, Swarga. And since people are not sure whether they will get the real Swarga, etc., because of their karma, because in Mundaka Upanishad we are seeing how difficult it is to get Swarga through karmas. How perfectly you have to perform the karmas as per injunctions of this Shastra. So what they do, they opt for Bhuloga Swarga, which is North America. People want to land there by hook or by crook. If a lady is pregnant, make sure the child is born there. Or go there for studies, then try to get a job. If that is not possible, marry a citizen, which will ensure that you also become a citizen. Of course, all these earlier it was much easier, but now the recent development show that going to the actual Swarga may be a lot easier than going to this Bhuloka Swarga. Anyway, Krishna is referring to the actual Swarga Loka only and not this pseudo Swarga Loka. And you may recall earlier we had discussed about three levels of bhakti: Manda Bhakti, Madhyama Bhakti, and Uttama Bhakti. So all those discussions have to be recalled in this context. The first level of bhakti, that is Manda Bhakti, is when God is considered the means for attaining all my material goals. As I said, this is Sakama Bhakti. Then the next level is Madhyama Bhakti, is when I take God as my goal in my life. God is the end. And that is one aspect of Nishkama Bhakti. Or in fact, I should say that is Nishkama Bhakti. Then Uttama Bhakti is when I reach the highest level of spiritual maturity and understand that essentially there is no difference between me and God. That is Advaita Bhakti. And Krishna talks about all these three levels. First in verse 20, 21, he talks about Manda Bhakti or Sakama Bhakti. And what do Manda Bhaktas or Sakama Bhaktas do? They worship the Lord all right. And suppose the Lord suddenly appears and asks them, what do you want? First, they will be taken aback. Then they will think a lot. Then end up asking for the wrong things. That is called moha or delusion. And that is what Krishna says, Traividya somapa putapapa yajnaihi mam ishtva swargatim prartayante. They are all great bhaktas, Traividya. They are very well versed in the three Vedas. In the north, they are called, north of India, they are called Trivedis. There are Trivedis, Chaturvedi, Dvivedi. Those surnames are there. Not the present people. Maybe some ancestors were all very well versed in three Vedas. So that ancestral, somebody would have got the title Trivedi or Chaturvedi. Now generation after generation that is followed. The current generation, they may not even know the spelling of Veda. But then they will be called Trivedis. Anyway. So not only that they are Trivedis, they are Somapaha. They have performed the Soma Yaga. And they have offered Somarasa to the Agni. And that Somarasa they have taken as Prasada also. So they are called Somapaha. Somapaha means those who consume soma rasa. Soma rasam pipati iti somapaha. And we must note that this soma rasa panam should be taken only as part of the yaga, soma yaga. Without yaga, if you take somapanam, it is liquor. And therefore, as many people nowadays tend to do, justify, one cannot justify one's drinking habits, saying that Vedas advise it. Even Bhagavan Krishna talks about it in Bhagavad Gita. That is not the somapa. Only as prasada. Prasada means what? Just a few drops. That's why even in Christianity, that wine which is offered in the churches, it's a ritual. It is a religious ritual. One must not criticize it saying that, oh, Christians drink wine and all that. No. There it's only, a small quantity as a prasada. And they say that it is a purification ritual. So therefore, these drinking habits cannot be justified. In fact, in Vedas, the injunction is Suram na pibet. Sura means liquor. And therefore, the Somarasa is not supposed to be taken separately. It is to be taken only as part of the yaga and in the form of prasada. And when they take, they become Puta Papaha. Puta Papaha means they all are free from all the papam. They acquire enormous amount of punyam. So such people, Bhagavan gives them the blank check and says, you can write anything, I will grant you that. You want the world, I will give you that. You want God, I will give you that also. You can choose anyone. And in Kathopanishad it says, Shreyascha preyascha manushyametah tau samparitya vivinakti dhiraha. So both ends are there. But what do these people or most of the people do? Swargatim prarthayante. Gatihi means goal or destination. Swar means swarga. So swargatim means swargagatim, swargaphalam, prarthayante. They ask for. They say, by doing all these karmas, I want to go to swarga. So as far as Bhagavan is concerned, he does not have any choice. He has given a blank check. Whatever they feel, he is obliged to grant it. Of course, condition is there. They should have fulfilled all the preconditions for Bhagavan granting that, whatever they ask. And that is why, Vedanta constantly repeats one message. And what is that? What we get in life is not determined by Bhagavan, even though we generally think that whatever we are getting, Bhagavan is giving. If Bhagavan is responsible for the choice of what we get, then the Bhagavan could become a partial Bhagavan, a biased Bhagavan. Because for some people, he gives an happy life. For some people, he gives an unhappy life. And since we do not know the reason, we will allege that Bhagavan is partial. So even though Bhagavan is karma phala data, he is bound by the law of karma. And he can give karma phalam strictly governed by that law. So ultimately, Bhagavan is like a shopkeeper. You go to the shop, whatever you want, you ask, he will give you if you deserve according to the law of karma. Because if you are under 18 years old, I think that is the age limit, and if you go and ask for a pack of cigarettes or something, that's my understanding, that cigarettes, etc., or any of these things should not be sold to children. Then the shopkeeper will not give that. Well, you don't deserve it. Whatever you deserve according to the law of karma, you will get. So your goal is to be decided by you only. Your guru cannot decide. Your parents cannot decide. Bhagavan also cannot decide. And therefore, whatever we experience in our life, we cannot blame anybody but ourselves for all those experiences. Therefore, Bhagavan says these people have an opportunity to fill the blank check with God's name. What do you want? I want Bhagavan as my goal. But instead of seeking God, they seek Swarga because they want to enjoy and be happy. Bhagavan cannot say in Swarga also your happiness will be limited. Instead, you ask for moksha, he cannot say. But even if he says, these people will reject moksha. It is like you show a gold biscuit and also an eatable biscuit to a baby and ask the child what it wants. What will the child choose? Obviously, the child will choose the eatable biscuit only because it does not know the value of the gold biscuit. Poor child does not know that the gold biscuit can buy millions of eatable biscuits. Similar is the case with these people. Nitya anitya vastu vivekah nasti. In fact, it is very, you can see it in Pratyaksha Rupa. Earlier days of this Nana Nani, Swami Sadatmananda Saraswati was my guru, used to come here and take classes. Once in a week, he will have talks. Different in it was started with some Bhagavad Gita talks, general talks, and not teaching. Values of Bhagavad Gita, something like that. And then he started speaking on Adhyatma Ramayanam and all. Initially, lot of people, 150 people attendance will be there. Then week after week after week after, it will start dwindling. It came down to some 15, 20 people. Same story with our classes also. So people do not want to know all these things. They're very complicated for them. They want worldly order. Today, you go and screen some film, the hall will be full. Or some dance program and music program and things like drama. Hall will be full. But you have any topic on God as the destination or moksha, etc., you will get a handful of people. So therefore, if people know this, they will certainly ask for God. They ask for Swarga and Bhagavan gives them Swarga. And therefore Krishna says, Te Surendra Lokam Asadhya. Those unintelligent people, those Sakama Bhaktas, those Mandha Bhaktas, Surendra Lokam Asadhya. Asadhya means having reached, having attained the world of Indra. Surendra means Indra, Indra Devata, which is Swargaloka. So Surendra Lokam, Swargalokam Asadhya. And what type of Surendra Lokam it is? He says Punyam Surendra Lokam. Punyam means Punya Phala Rupam, or we can take it as sacred. The sacred heaven which is full of joy, full of sense pleasures. We just now saw what type of pleasures they can enjoy in Swargaloka. As they say in Hindi, khao piyo maja karo. Eat, drink and make merry. This I am not saying, Krishna himself is saying. Ashnati, he says. They consume, they partake. Deva bhogan, pleasures enjoyed by other gods. All the heavenly pleasures, the celestial pleasures in Divi. Divi means in Swargaloka. So these people get a VIP pass. And they enjoy all the pleasures along with other VIPs of heaven. And such pleasures are called Divyan. Divyan, you can say supernatural, extraordinary. In fact, some of those pleasures we can't even imagine. Divyan means alaukikam. Alaukika sukham, they will enjoy. And when we hear this description, it appears as though the Sakama Bhaktas have made the right choice. They have chosen heaven, of course, not now, after death. Therefore, for getting visa to heaven, the first qualification that you should die. That is understood. And after death, they go to Swargaloka. So it appears to be the right choice because for Sakama Bhakti, highest goal is Swargaloka. And that is why some people want to enjoy at least some of those pleasures while living. And that is why the materialistic goals know no bounds. And they also simulate going to a heaven on Vaikuntha Ekadasi day to demonstrate to Bhagawad that this is the goal we are pursuing. But whether it is a right choice or not, Krishna is going to examine in the next verse. He doesn't have preference, but he is now, as I said, pros he has presented. Now the cons of Sakama Bhakti is presenting in the next verse. We will read, okay? Te tam bhuktva.
Te tam bhuktva.
Unmute everybody. Te tam bhuktva.
Te tam bhuktva.
Swargalokam vishalam.
Swargalokam vishalam.
Kshine punye.
Kshine punye.
Martyalokam vishanti.
Martyalokam vishanti.
Evam trayi dharmam.
Edam trayi dharmam.
Anuprapannaha.
Anuprapannaha.
Gata-gatam.
Gata-gatam.
Kama kama labhante.
Samakalaha bhante.
Okay, good. I will give you the Anvaya. Bhuktva tam vishalam swargalokam. Okay, you can mute yourself now. Bhuktva tam vishalam swargalokam. Te vishanti martyalokam. Punye kshine evam kama kamaha anuprapannaha Trayi dharmam labante gata agatam. That is in fact, the sentences are very simple. If you know a little bit of Sanskrit, you will understand what Krishna is conveying as the cons of the Sakama Bhakti. So, bhuktva, having enjoyed, tam vishalam swargalokam, that vast heavenly world, te vishanti, they come back, martyalokam, to the world of mortals, punye chhine, when their punya is exhausted, evam, thus, kama kama hai, sorry, the seeker of sense pleasures, anuprapanna, who have taken to Trayi Dharmam, the rituals of Vedas, labhante, attain, gata agatam, arrival and departure. Only the lot of arrival and departure. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. So, having enjoyed that vast heavenly world, they come back to the world of mortals when their punya is exhausted. Thus, the seekers of sense pleasures who have taken the ritual of the Vedas, taken to the ritual of the Vedas, attain arrival and departure. So, Krishna says, if you go by the 20th verse, their choice seems to be a wonderful choice. They will certainly go to a wonderful world. They will enjoy wonderful pleasures also. And that too not for a short while, for very many long years. But Krishna says, Te tam bhuktva sargalokam. Bhuktva, having enjoyed the heavenly pleasures. And in fact, these heavenly pleasures include some supernatural powers also. Because every devata has got some supernatural power, isn't it? Which means sankalpa matrena. By mere visualization itself, they can order all the pleasures. Suppose they want to see the movie Coolie. They hear that it has been released and it's a big success. They want to view it in Swargaloka. It has not been released even in OTT. So where the question of Swargaloka? But they can immediately visualize Coolie and then it will be shown to them. That is the power they will enjoy. But devatas also have got such powers, supernatural powers. And how big is this Swargalokam? Will it be crowded like our metro cities with narrow roads, traffic jam, especially when it is pouring? Whole city goes out of order. Krishna says that Swargalokam is Vishala, very vast. Therefore, it is not at all crowded. Because everyone cannot go to Swargalokam, isn't it? Each one can have a huge mansion. There is no need for even multi-story apartments or skyscrapers. Such a vast Swargaloka Sukham they enjoy. So up to this was the brighter aspect of Sakama Bhakti which Krishna described in the previous sloka. And generally, people see the brighter aspect only. Like seeing the rose, not seeing the thorn behind it. What is the thorn? Krishna is describing in this sloka. They get this Swargaloka because of the punyam that has been earned by karma. So this Swargaloka Sukham comes with a heavy price tag. It is not free of cost. One has to earn punyam currency. You can call them heavenly dollars in billions. And for every milligram of pleasure, one has to shell out large amount of these heavenly dollars. And how did they earn the punyam? Through their karmas like Somayaga, etc. So they earn a lot of punyam currency, spend it lavishly in Swargaloka in exchange for all the heavenly pleasures. Now there is a problem which they don't realize. Like most of us don't realize that problem till we reach a retirement stage. I wouldn't say most of us, many of us. In Swargaloka, you can spend punyam, but you cannot earn fresh punyam to replenish the depleting stock of punyam. Swarga is only a bhoga bhumi, not a karma bhumi. Only bhuloka is the karma bhumi. In all the 14 lokas, only bhuloka is the karma bhumi. And in bhuloka also, the Shastra says it is only the Indian subcontinent which is a karma bhumi. Places like the Gulf, US, etc. are not karma bhumis. So whatever you do there, good or bad, you will neither get punyam nor get papa. You will just be there. So this means that the earned punyam will get gradually depleted, gradually exhausted. And that means what? One day, whatever punyam has taken you to Swarga, the whole punyam gets exhausted. The visa expires. Then what will happen? At least in some other countries here in the Bhuloka, you can try to evade and somehow overstay. But in Swarga, the heavenly computers are there. There is heavenly police also there. Perfect records they maintain. You cannot stay even for a moment once the punyam is exhausted. The person is immediately identified. And then what happens? Krishna tells, Punye kshine sati. When all the heavenly punyams are exhausted, Martyalokam vishanti. You are deported back to from where you came. That is the Martyalokam. Back to all problems of potholes, pollution, traffic jam, mosquitoes, everything. Burglary, dacoity, murder, everything. Therefore, he says, Kshine punye martyalokam vishanti. And as we saw in Mundaka Upanishad, even martyalokam is not guaranteed. It all depends upon what is the next karma which is fructifying. If the next fructifying karma is a inferior type, even Manushya Loka is not guaranteed. As we saw in Mundaka Upanishad, Nakasya prishte te sukrutenu bhutva imam lokam hinataram va vishanti. Therefore, you have to come back from Swargalokam, this paka, that is sure. But then one may ask, so what? So what means the point is any object which gives you pleasure by its company, the very same object will give you pain when it goes away from you, isn't it? Any object which gives joy by association, the same object gives sorrow because of disassociation. This is the natural law. Suppose you are watching a movie, either at home or in the hall, cinema hall. And it is now an interesting climax scene, which is highly entertaining, making you feel very happy. And suppose suddenly there is a power cut. There is no generator also. What will be your reaction? You will go wild. Your anger will be directly proportional to the enjoyment that you were deriving by watching the movie. And that is how the mind behaves. So they Martya Lokam Vishanti, they come back to the Dukkha Lokam. Then what do? They become so addicted to the joy of Swarga that they want the same experience again. But it cannot be got in Manushya Loka. So, like people who are addicted to drugs, etc., the moment the effect of the drug is gone, they face withdrawal symptoms and rush to take the drug again. Likewise, these people, once they come back, they start doing karmas again to earn punyam. Excuse me. So earn lot of punyam, go to Swargaloka, exhaust the punyam, come back, do karmas again. Thus, unless they are weaned away from karma addiction through detox or de-addiction programs. Excuse me. What is wrong? Some dust, I think. Through the detox program or de-addiction program of Vedanta, they will be caught in the vicious circle of addiction. And Krishna says every samsari is like an addict. Does karma, enjoys or earns punyam, enjoys, loses everything. Again does karma, enjoys, loses everything. Gata gatam kama kama labhante. Therefore he says, evam, in this manner, trayi dharmam anuprapannaha kama kamaha. Those people who follow the ritualistic portion of the Vedas, the Karmakanda portion of the Vedas, and with the attitude of Kama Kama, with the aim of pure enjoyment, sensory enjoyment, worldly pleasures. So here Kama Kama means Vishaya Kama. Kama, the Kama means Vishaya, Kama means pleasures, desires. So Kama Kama means Vishaya Kama. They are only interested in sensory pleasures. Such people do all the puja, etc., but use punyam earned for the sake of the perishable pleasures. And therefore, what is their lot? Gata gatam labhante. So the consequence is gata gatam cha. Gatam means swarga gamanam. Agatam means bhuloga agamanam. Then again swargaloka gamanam. Again bhuloka agamanam. And in between, there could be possibility of Naraka Gamanam and again Bhuloka Agamanam. So one has to come to Bhuloka at regular intervals because all earnings of Punya Papa you can do here only, and that is a wonderful opportunity Bhagavan gives to every Jiva. He says, I will keep on giving you Bhuloka Jiva or giving you a life in Bhuloka so that you use that life appropriately for earning moksha. So Bhuloka Gamanam is always there. Like, when we travel by taxi or auto rickshaw, etc., the driver will switch on the meter. And after the trip ends, he will switch it off after the payment. It will reset. So the life of a jiva is constantly reset once the punyam or the papam for which the life was got initially is exhausted. And as I said, punyam and papam can be earned only in Bhuloka. In all other 13 lokas, whether it is 6 upper lokas or 7 lower lokas, all these lokas are only for the exhaustion of your punya and papa. In lower lokas, you can exhaust your papam. In higher lokas, you can exhaust your punyam. And again, if the bank balance has to be built up, you have to come to Bhuloka. Therefore, Gamana Gamanam. And this is called the biography of a samsari. And then what is the solution? Solution Krishna offers in the next sloka. We will read. All of you can unmute. Ananyas chintayanto mam.
Ananya chindayantyo mam.
Ye janah paryupasate.
Ye jana
Paripasate.
asate.
Tesham nityabhiyuktanam.
Tesham nityabhiyuktanam.
Yogakshemam vahamyaham.
Lokakshemam mahamyaham.
Very good. So the Anvaya is Ye janaha ananyaha paryupasate chintayantaha mam aham vahami yogakshemam tesham nitya abhiyuktanam. Janaha, those people, ye ananyaha, those who see me as non-different from themselves. Paryupasate, offer worship. Chintayantaha mam, by dwelling on me. Aham vahami, I take care of. Yogakshemam, the yoga and kshema. Nitya abhiyuktanam, of those ever steadfast ones. So those people who see me as non-different from them offer worship by dwelling on me. I take care of yoga and kshema of those ever steadfast ones. So in the previous two slokas, Krishna talked about Sakama Bhakti or Manda Bhakti, for whom God is only a means, world is the end. Now in this important verse, which is oft quoted verse, Bhagavan talks about Madhyama Bhakta, the Nishkama Bhakta, for whom God is not a means for other things. God is the means also. God is the end also. God is the end, the goal. That is highlighted in this sloka. And when God is the end, the love for God will certainly be superior. You know why? Because if you study your mind is always obsessed with the end alone. Your mind is never obsessed with the means. Suppose you want to go to a place and say you are traveling by train or a flight. You will certainly go to the starting place, a station or airport, purchase the ticket, you do everything. But throughout the journey, your mind is going to dwell on what? Thoughts of the destination. When will I reach there? Will I reach there on time? What all will I do there? Whom all am I going to meet there? How will I go from the station or airport to my place of stay if no one comes to pick me up? So your mind is soaked with the thought of your destination only. And not only in travel, anything you want to achieve, it could be the conduct of the marriage of your children or any major event at your home. It could be to build a house on a land you own, for which you do all the transactions with the contractor. You talk to the contractor, you will discuss the plans, budget, etc. But you will not fall in love with the contractor because contractor is only a means. Your thoughts will be on the final destination, the constructed house. In fact, even before it is ready, you will be thinking of how to furnish it, what all colors in the walls that you will want, where you will want the kitchen, where you will want the puja room, what all wall hangings you will buy. So many details, You will keep on dwelling upon the house, even if the house is under construction. And when he is going to finish it, when he will he give, whether he will give it on time or not, when will I have the housewarming ceremony, whom all should I invite for housewarming ceremony. All these transactions go on in your mind. Your mind is absorbed in these in the end only. Similarly, here also, in the case of a Madhyama Bhakta, he does all the worldly transactions, but his mind is absorbed in the ultimate goal of his life. That is called Bhagavan in Puranic language. That is called Moksha in Vedantic language. That is called Tivra Mumukshutvam in Tattvabodha language. And that is called Jignasu Bhakti in the 7th chapter language. And therefore, since the end occupies the mind, it is so powerful that it displaces all other things from your mind. That is how you earn Vairagya. All other sensory pleasures, the craving for sensory pleasures are displaced. Automatically, you will develop Vairagya. Everything else, whether it is an important function that you have to attend the following week, or you have to go for a horoscope hunting to settle your daughter's marriage, there will be so many such things. All of them become secondary goal. Of course, you may still pursue all those goals diligently, but your mind is absorbed in the thoughts of Bhagavan only, in the thoughts of moksha only. That is called Ananya Bhakti. A bhakti in which the absorption into the Lord displaces all the other secondary goals of life. As I said, the other goals of life are not ignored. You pursue them with the same seriousness, the same fervor, which a Manda Bhakta does. Therefore, absorption into the Lord does not mean ignorance of one's family duties. Krishna is not talking about disregarding or disrespecting one's duty. All those are to be done properly. But when I have chosen Bhagavan as the goal of life, that is there in my subconscious all the time. And therefore, Ananyaha, without any other goal occupying the mind, Janaha Mam Paryupasate, Janaha, the Madhyama Bhaktas, Nishkama Bhakta hai, Jignasu Bhakta hai, Mam Paryupasate. They worship me as their only goal in life. They have no other goal other than moksha. Now one may ask, what happens to one's duties, one's interaction with the world? I have a family. For that I have to earn, and then children, grandchildren will be there. What about those things? I need to earn, create wealth, and then I need to safeguard that wealth also. I need to protect my possessions. So if I am going to be absorbed throughout on my goal, which is Bhagavan, what will I do for my yoga and kshema? Yoga means acquiring whatever is required. Apraptasya praptihi, like basic needs of life, food, clothing, shelter, etc. Second thing is kshema. Kshema means praptasya rakshanam, protecting whatever I have acquired. So acquisition and preservation, they are the two basic pursuits of human life. So what do I do about all those things? Question will be there, for which Bhagavan will give an answer in the next class. Okay, we will stop here. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
Namaskaram.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Dhanyawad.
Hari Om Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank
Namaste.
you.
Yeah, Namaskaram, Guruji.
Namaskaram.
Yeah, just comment for the sake of fun. I am sharing something. Whatever upasana I do, puja and upasana and japatapa, 50% I do with Sakama Bhakti, Sakama Sankalpa, and 50% I do with the Nishkama Sankalpa.
So
I
that
don't know
Krishna
what.
is not covered.
Yeah,
50
and
he
what
is
fruit
not
I am
covered.
getting, I don't know. Yeah. And this Yogakshema, after Ananyas Chintayanto, the Yogakshemam Vahamyam he is telling. So Yogakshemam is the first goal you said, it is a Bhagavad Prapti, Moksha.
Praptasya prapti.
Yeah, that is we are going to discuss, you said.
No,
But
apraptasya prapti is yogam.
Hmm.
Apraptasya prapti means what you do not have, that you acquire.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that is.
kshema means praptasya rakshanam.
Yeah,
Whatever you are acquired, you safeguard it.
yeah. So
Then
in this
Bhagavan
Yoga,
will talk about those two in the next class.
yeah, see, Yogakshemam includes moksha and materialistic, both.
No.
No. This
Yoga
is talking about
kshemam does
materialistic
not.
only.
Yoga and kshema is only gaining. In moksha, there is no gaining. It is leaving everything.
Mm-hmm.
There is no yoga, no kshemam, because Bhagavan is the full yoga kshemam. You don't need to, you are not worrying about all these things in Nishkama Bhakti, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, a Sakama Bhakta will have this question. Like you said, riding in two boats. One leg in one boat, another leg in another boat.
Yeah.
What will happen if you ride in two boats? You can.
Yeah,
I don't need to explain.
correct.
So Bhagavan says, we'll give the answer. If you ask the question to Bhagavan, all this you are saying is very good. Always think of Bhagavan, close the door, sit in a room, and then think of do upasana, meditation on Bhagavan. What about, eating and this thing? My children are there, they are hungry. One will say, don't worry, I will give you the answer for that. That is the next thing.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you. Yes,
Thank
Vijay.
you very much, Guruji. Namaskaram. Thank you.
Namaskaram. Namaskaram. Thank you. Hari Om. Yes, Srinath. Srikanta, Srinath. Always get
Srikant, sir.
Srikant.
Guruji.
Yeah.
Srikant. Guruji, somewhere in the middle of today's class, you said Bharat Desham alone is a karma bhumi. But is karma not applicable for the other people, in other countries and this thing?
According to Shastra, no.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know about countries like US and all. I have not gone so deep. But What the Shastra says is where nothing is grown, karma also cannot grow. So basically, they talk about Mlecha Bhumi, which is desert areas, which you can say, all these Gulf nations and all the desert countries. That is not a karma bhumi. Now, in the US, Australia, and all things do grow. So I will have to look into it more carefully to give you an answer, which I'll cover in the next class.
I thought all human beings, because whoever has free will attract papa punyam because of whatever actions that they do. Actions have consequences, kind of a thing.
Provided that activities are done on a bhumi which can produce punyam and papa. See, when you sow a seed, the seed has to germinate, become a plant and a tree. For that, a certain amount, the kind of earth is required. Now, if that earth is itself not available, whatever seed you sow, it will not germinate. So, if you go to Saudi Arabian desert and plant rice, will it grow? It will not grow.
It will not grow, yeah.
So, like that, the karma is actually related, or that is compared with that kind of a example in the Shastras. Now the question comes, because the thing is, from a Shastric point of view, Bharat Desham is the only Desham which was there. Now, another possibility is there. Earlier, there was only one. And in that, there were only two types. The bhumis which could grow, bhumis which cannot grow the crops. Two types.
Okay.
Then that bhumis which could grow and not grow, they separated into 7 continents over a period of millions of years. So when they separated, they retained their original nature. So it is not that all the bhumi is not a karma bhumi. But as I said, this is my own interpretation. It is not, I have to study the Shastra a little more deeper to find out exactly what is karma bhumi and whether that those other places, other parts, other continents also can be considered as karma bhumi. That I will have to, I can't give you an offhand answer without knowing the detail.
But Guruji, Bharat itself was an Akhanda Bharat.
That is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So
because now we are divided into Pakistan, Bangladesh,
no,
and
that is true. That Akhanda Bharat is the Indian subcontinent. You take it as a karma bhumi.
Correct.
But the question is whether it is only Akhanda Bharat or Akhanda Vishwam it was once upon a time. Then it becomes Khanda Vishwam. Then Bharata Khande, Indra Khande. Like
correct.
that, different Khandas came up, no? So whether
Mm-hmm.
that was later, it happened. But even after split, they retain their original characteristics, which means that if a portion has gone from the karma bhumi, that proportion, that place also is a karma bhumi, which I have my own doubts, I can say. I'm ignorance rather, not doubt, ignorance in that respect, which I will have to find out.
Can we say that our karma bhumi as all has shrunk, in other words?
No, you should not see. When we talk of Bharat, we are not talking Akhanda Bharat, we are not talking of India alone. We are talking about the entire Indian subcontinent. That is what was called Bharata Varsham.
Not the entire Asia.
Not the entire Asia, probably. Again, I will have to see, because what I have learned is only Indian subcontinent. I mean, like it's not even China and all that. It excludes that. That's what I've learned. But then we will have to, as I said, it's a subject matter which we need to be completely studied from the Shastric point of view. And even in Ramayana, Mahabharata and all that, what is the reference to Bharata Varsha, what all it can includes. Like that we'll have to see. So we will have to do some research on what is meant by karma bhumi.
Karma bhumi.
So once we have that answer, probably in a week's time, I will be able to.
No, but nowadays it has become common. My Janama bhumi is this. Karma bhumi can be anywhere in the world.
Correct, but that is all. You can also have those interpretations very for convenience sake, you know. So, but we have to go by what Shastra says, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
Guruji, my question was based on a fundamental thing that look, there are a lot of jigadis, and these guys are doing a lot of bad things to the world. So they will also have karma, and they will have to reap the rewards. That was my thought process,
No,
and that's
your
why that
thought
question
process
came
is
up.
perfectly right.
Yeah.
The thought process is perfectly right. Unfortunately, Acharyas like Swami Sadatmananda and Swami Paramatanda have not addressed this issue
Yeah, yeah.
where I have seen. So I am ignorant to that extent. My gurus have not told me what exactly is the definition of karma bhumi. So I will have to do my own little bit research, whether successful or not. That will only know after I do the karma. But next week we will discuss it. I will discuss it in the next class.
No, one more thing in continuation.
Mm.
We have discussed the people who do, say, accumulate punya, go to Swarga, return. Again, that is a closed loop for those people. But how about the criminals? Like you got an example, Valmiki was a criminal originally.
Yes. No, that is criminal originally. But Valmiki got into what? He got into, took Bhagavan as his goal in life.
No, that is much later.
Yeah. So what happens once you have come to this moksha pursuit
Mm.
and gain jnanam, then all punya papas of the past are completely burnt off.
Jnanagni datta karmani.
He
Jnanagni datta sarva karmani.
Jnanagni, yeah, Jnanagni, Dagde Sarva Karmani, yeah.
Okay,
So that is burnt. But one thing again you must note, and that comes in the Shastra also, if a person is doing a particular karma which may appear to be a wrong karma. For example, there is a story of a butcher.
Mm-hmm.
So one person goes and asks the butcher, you are doing all this butchering job, does it not give you papa? And that butcher actually is a wise person. He is a jnani.
Mm.
He says, what I am doing for my livelihood will not give me papa. That is my nature. My job is that. Similarly, when animals kill and eat, there's no papa for that. But that is their nature. Therefore, certain things we have to, where this law of karma has got lot of subjective elements.
Mm-hmm.
What is right for a Kshatriya to kill in a war is not right for a Brahmana. Brahmana should not participate in a war. So if you go into the subtleties of all these things, there are so many. It's not a very easy thing. It's not a straight, day and night or black and white business. That is why Dronacharya, being a Brahmana, Krishna tells him that you should not have done this. Why did you take sides? Kshatriya dharma, Duryodhana is Kshatriya, this fellow is a Kshatriya.
But fundamentally, he was a good archer. He was training. That is okay.
But why he joined Duryodhana? To take revenge.
That is true. Yeah.
Personal revenge.
Yes.
It was not any great allegation for Duryodhana and all. The problem was he wanted to take a personal revenge. So that is why he sided with the opposite side.
In fact, Arjuna was his favorite student.
Yeah. Arjuna was his favorite student. Even against his favorite student, he went against
Mm.
him. Why?
Mm.
Personal revenge. So again, that is not Brahmin's, quality, taking revenge and things like
Karma.
that. Karma.
Dharma. Mm.
Those things are there. As I said, if you get into that route, it's a huge, very huge area rather. And, from Bhagavad, then this Bhagavad Gita class will not end not only in this Janma, next Janma also.
It will go on. It's like a mine. You can keep digging.
Keep digging, go on, rather. Anyway, regarding this Karma Bhumi thing, now he has actually made me also inquisitive to learn more about it. I will try my best to access the sources from where I can get this information. And if I am successful, I will share it with you in the next.
One more last question.
Yeah.
The person who is doing good karma goes to heaven, returns. Otherwise, the other lot who are criminals, you mean that they will go to hell and come back and create more crimes and go back?
Yeah. That's
They
what I
will get
said.
into that loop.
Out of the 14 lokas, one can earn punya papa only in this bhuloka. All other
Okay.
lokas for exhaustion of their punya or papa.
Correct.
Once that is exhausted, they will come back to bhuloka. Starting point is bhuloka. So, but then what will happen is, suppose a person goes, he has done a very big crime and goes to Narakaloka. Because there also there is a gradation, right?
Correct.
Patala, Sutala, Patala,
Hmm.
Talatala, Rasatala, all that is there.
Mm.
Then Patala is the last. Suppose one goes to Patala. And in Patala, he exhausts the papam, for which he went to Patala. Now, what happens? The next, once that papam is exhausted, he becomes free from Patala Loka. But then it depends upon what is the next karma coming up maturing. Suppose that is the karma which will again give him talatala, not patala, talatala loka. Talatala also is one of the narakas, the lower.
Okay.
So he will go there. He will serve his term there. Then he will finish that. Then if that is also exhausted, and if the next set of karmas maturing is a balanced one, that is papa, punya are more or less balanced, then he will get manushya loka. So understand how the whole system works.
Very complicated.
It is complicated. The Shastra is complicated. But it is logical in the sense that suppose you are having an employment in India, earning money, spending money. You go to America on a tour, right? With a visa, 6 months visa. There you cannot earn. You can spend all the money you have earned, which is punyam you have earned, you can spend. At the end of the money exhausted, you come back to India to earn more money.
That's correct.
Then similarly, you are spending the money, the opposite example. Suppose you are a Bangladeshi immigrant. You come here to India, illegal immigrant. Then you are caught. Of course, during that state, he will be, hiding himself and, evading because he can't get a regular employment generally. Of course, these days with Aadhaar card fraud and all, it's all okay. But theoretically speaking, he will be evading the police authorities and all. So he will have a lot of sufferings. But he picked up once, then sent back to Bangladesh. There is a citizen, he can again start earning if it all is capable. So like that, once you go to Punya Lokas, the Swarga Lokas, you will exhaust your Punyam. Not all the Punyam. The Punyam which was responsible for taking you to Swarga Loka. That Punyam will be exhausted. It is just like you carry foreign currency to US. It is not that you are going to in America exhaust all your wealth which you have accumulated and saved in India, isn't it?
Right.
Only that portion will be depleted, exhausted. Then you come to India, earn more and replenish that. Similarly, go to Naraka Lokas, all these Atala, Sutala, Patala and all. then you exhaust that papam, come back to Swargaloka. Because Bhagavan constantly gives you, as a karma phala data, an opportunity to correct yourself.
Correct yourself.
If you have done lot of papa karmas, you have suffered for that, come back and earn punya karmas. And in that also, you can earn punya karma for the purpose of going to Swarga, etc. Or you can take punya karma is through what? Through Nishkama Bhakti only. Isn't it? When you do Nishkama Bhakti, you get punyas. Sakama Bhakti, you will get what? Whatever you are asking for. Materialistic ends.
Wish, yeah.
Wish, your desires are fulfilled.
Correct.
So in Nishkama Bhakti, you get punya, you go to Swarga and Upasana, etc. Because we saw in Mundaka Upanishad, Upasana will give you Brahmaloka. Karma and Upasana, the twin distinct combination will give you Brahmaloka. So you go there, exhaust, come back here, and then again, okay, suppose you come back from Naraka. You say, I have suffered a lot in Naraka. Now I will become a good person. We see in Hindi picture and all, I mean, in Tamil.
I'll reform myself.
Reform myself. I will now concentrate on either on good deeds to earn legitimately what I want, my desires to be fulfilled in a legitimate manner, or I will now reform myself and have Bhagavan as my goal and do Nishkama Karma with the Sankalpa that I don't want any desires, I don't want any material ends, I want moksha. For that, Bhagavan, please give me Chitta Shuddhi. So when this understanding comes, then the person gets refined. Then whatever he does, he will gain the Chitta Shuddhi also. So this is a very complicated,
yes.
involved discussion. This is all this is. Right. And there will be more questions. We'll be left with more questions than answers. But answers are there. Only thing is, we are limited in our equipment in terms of our knowledge to know all the answers. The more learned we are in the Shastra, the more number of questions we can answer.
Correct.
And the answer should be legitimate answer. One should not just guesswork.
Correct.
That will not work.
Okay, Guruji. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Any more questions?
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
I think Sulekha ji, your hands had gone up.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste.
I think you've answered some of my question that I had originally had put my hand up for, but I think what I'd like to do is revise your class today and think about it more carefully. I also wanted to check in first with you in terms of your timings, your dinner timings. I didn't want to take up any more of your time.
No, that's okay.
But I do want to say that in terms of Nishkama karma and as a bhakta, to try to understand and absorb and incorporate into life the idea that at some point punya and papa does not necessarily become something to run towards or something to avoid. It's not the goal. The goal
Both
is
of them.
Exactly, both. Neither of them are goals that I certainly at this point I'm trying to think in a way that is much more around understanding and incorporating the knowledge into how it reflects into the world. So the idea of punya going to Swarga or papa going to the other lokas is not of a great concern, but the idea of doing what is right and necessary for the situation without personal involvement or personal gain is much more of a focus. And understanding the Shastras and understanding what you have taught in the classes with the Shastra and Ishvara, for my understanding is much more really, or to understand the knowledge and incorporate it without personal gain is where I'm focused on. And so today's class, I think, has been a very good class, especially satsanga as well, as much as trying to understand that point is not going towards karmas for the sake of personal gain, whether the gain is good or bad.
Yeah.
Obviously, we try to avoid doing anything wrong, but not for personal reasons. But for me, it's much more around what does the situation require?
Yeah.
How can it benefit the most number of people, not myself personally, but others? And is it appropriate given the context, the action? Is it an appropriate action for the context and for the situation? So today's class was very good. I don't have anything further to say. I'm rambling.
Thank you, Hari.
Hari Om.
So I think we can close the session today. Continue in the next class. Hari Om.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.